What's up everybody, Presto here again, and today I'm going to show you how I did this video that I uploaded a couple of days ago. Sorry I haven't posted a tutorial, I've just been busy, so we'll just jump right into it because it takes a while. I'll tell you right now, you'll need a tripod. Have your character walk into frame and jump as if he landed from the sky. No biggie, then he can walk out again. And then pan your camera up into the sky. Make sure you don't shake it for this. Then reverse the video in any app you like. Then jump into NodeVideo and change your preview render mode to all layers. This will help you later. Then add your video or your footage of the guy jumping, and we can get to work on it. Okay, first of all, go and find the part where your talent is landing just as he's about to touch the floor, or maybe after he touches the floor a little. Then you cut that piece away, and then you go forward in time to maybe after everything, like you don't want things to be in the background, then cut that place away too. Now add your sky panning shot into the video, into your project. Okay, so you set it in front and make them layer up against each other like this, so it looks like this. So if you did it right, you should have a pretty seamless result like I have here. But this result isn't seamless enough for me, so I made a little bit of tweaks there, which you can do by yourself, but you don't need to do exactly what I did. I just made sure it looked better to my eye because it felt like there was a little jump there, but I fixed it. Now find the part of your frame, the beginning just before he touches the floor, and go to order and capture and add as layer. Then maybe this would be a good time to organize everything. I'm going to rename the panning shot to pan, the landing shot to land, and then the small frame that we'll put in the sky, I'll just name that as frame. But you can name it anything you want. If you like, name it booty or add a shape mask and change the type to pencil. And now it gets a little bit technical, just a little bit. You see, you have to make a precise mask around the guy. You can do it anyhow you want. You don't have to be very precise, but then you can't also be very rough because of the motion blur won't really hide it. So just be in the middle like I am. It takes a little while, but just go through the motion, go through the process. Take your time, not too much time, but take your time. Don't outline everything, but just enough. Alright, we're done. Yeah, it took a little bit, but not a problem. Now if you try to move your character around, you'll find that we have a big problem. The mask doesn't move with it, and that's very normal. You see, unless the shape mask is above the transform, it's not going to apply, but once you do it, it will work. I don't know why, it's just a NodeVideo problem, but let's move on to the next chapter. Go just before the panning shot actually starts panning and move your frame over there, and then end it as soon as the panning shot ends. So you just trim it like that, and that will be our base for working. In fact, like this, it's almost done. See, perfect. In fact, you could just finish this and export it and say that that's it. No, you can't do that, but you can make it better by going into the transform and reducing the shape. But first, turn on the animation for scale and for position, and create them at the same time, which is just before the panning shot begins to move. And then you definitely have to scale your character down very tiny until it's as small as your dick. Sorry. Okay, then you do the same thing with the position. Maybe move it a little bit up into the sky so that it looks like he's coming from a more distant place than he's actually coming from. And you can already see that it looks a ton better than before. It starts to look a little choppy when you analyze it. It seems like there's a little cut, and that problem is pretty easy to fix. and we will fix it in a moment, but first let's just try to do some other things. Like as you can see now, there's this choppiness, like it just dropped. I'll teach you how to fix it in a little while. First, split your panning shot at the part where it begins to pan. You can split it, then reduce the stretch value over there, that 100% sign, take it down to like 51. It should be good. Then also trim your frame layer accordingly, no biggie, and adjust your land. Just adjust everything, and maybe to look a little better. No, it still has that choppy grind to it, which is not a problem. Just reset the position value to 50, take it back down to 0.50, and it would work. I was a little confused about it, but just do it. It works like that, and all of a sudden your shot is perfect again. And now the only thing bothering me is the panning shot. It just happens too quickly, so I expanded it a little bit by stretching it to about 166. That is the first part of the pan, and then adjusting everything. And after that, it stayed a little while and it made everything smoother, but something is still missing. So we are going to add a ground crack and some dust. I'll just add that in. The ground crack is actually an image that I got from googleimages.com. So just use the chroma key to key out the green and check it so it just matches your scene how you want it. It's a matter of personal preference in this particular case. Then we move on to the next bit, which is to track the ground footage to our scene. So enter the land layer and add a motion tracker, and then track anywhere in the scene. Well, this is not permanent. We might change it later depending on whether or not it works. I'm trying to rush through this. I don't have the time. So just apply it to the ground crack. If you have any questions on motion tracking, there are a lot of videos all about it, and so don't worry. Then the next thing we're going to do with this, our little image that we have here, is trim it to the same amount of time as the pan. And then the next thing we're going to do is animate it. Oh, if it's not in position, it's because of the motion tracker. Motion trackers push layers out of positions and take them to the position of the motion tracker. And right now it's just bland on our screen, so we're going to add a shape mask and just use the ellipse tool that's already given. You don't need to change much. Blur it a little bit, and then you animate it to open up and close. I think you know how that works. Go to the beginning of the image layer, that's the ground crack, and then you tap on the size property and add a keyframe. Move a little bit, like a couple of frames, maybe just after your character lands, and then increase it, and voila, you're done. Looking good. Okay, now we're going to add in our dust asset. In case you don't know where to get or which ones to use, I'll drop a link to my YouTube playlist where I have all my dust assets. But now it's time to trim our video to match the rest of the video. So we'll just trim it to the image size. And now we're going to add the blending effect and change the blending mode to screen. And now the next thing to do is just position it into place and add a shape mask so that we can blur it out, because it has a very hard edge. So just use the rectangle shape and add a high blur, not too high, otherwise it will over blur everything. Just blur it, and this part is trial and error. Do anything you want. If you like, you use it this way. If you like, use it that way. Just test it with your scene and see what works for you. It took me a while to figure out how to do this. Again, about that shape mask over the transform thing, I ran into that problem here. So just do it anyhow you feel you're going to do it. I'm going to speed it up because I don't want this part to take up too much time. Alright, I'm done with that. It's almost finished, but there's a little bit of a problem which I should have accounted for a little while ago, and that's that I didn't start the video at the very top. I trimmed it forward, so I just went back and took it down and fixed that error, and after that we were good to go. It was starting to look better, but not quite good enough, so I went back and continued editing and changing it up just to make the timing right and make it look good, because anything we're doing is we're doing well. So at the end of the day, we had this beautiful. The only thing still bothering me at this point is the motion tracking. So after I went back and corrected that error, it started to look better and the way it was supposed to look. So after a couple of minutes, 19 minutes I think of editing time and a lot of stress and lack of sleep, we have this. So thank you so much for the support and the likes and the growth of this channel. Bye. It's been Presto the Editor. Subscribe. Peace.